All right, all right, all right. Hello, everybody. Peter Parks here. I'm going to give it a few seconds, see if we can get some people on. Sorry about being a little bit late. As you know, it's always a good day when you're out in the sun. Not sure if you can see me or not. If you can hear me, just quickly chime in and let me know where you are, and that would be greatly appreciated, so I can see where everyone's from. Yeah, you can hear me? Fantastic. Sorry about the quick little ghetto setup here, but this is my first time doing a Facebook Live. People have been asking me for the last 2 years to do one. So we're going to get it done right now. So if you guys can hear me, let me see. What are you guys seeing on my screen right now? Are you seeing me or are you seeing my screen? I'll give you a quick second here. What are you guys seeing? Are you seeing my screen or are you seeing me? All right, cool. Very cool, very cool. So are you guys happen to see, okay, are you guys seeing three pillars? You seeing everything there? If you can, let me know where you're from. Just quickly chime in for me. And let me know the audio is good for you guys, so I'm not scrambling around talking to dead air. That would be awesome if you could do that for me. All right, all right. You guys can hear me? Okay. All is good? Fantastic. That's what I like to hear. Fantastic. All right. So the reason why, oh, from France, nice, nice. Belgium, nice. Where else are people chiming in from? Pakistan. Oh, cool. Barcelona. Right on, Barcelona. Love it down there. Love it. Love it. I always hold my masterminds down there with my business partner, Andrew Fox. We go to Majorca, Spain. It's gorgeous down there. Love it. Orlando. Nice. Welcome, Orlando. Very cool. Very cool. All right. So today, what I wanted to do is I wanted to talk to you about the three pillars of wealth. There are actually five different pillars of wealth, but I'm going to talk about three of the most important pillars of wealth in your business. And once you get this down, you can pretty much build your business at scale. Now, this is the hardest thing that a lot of entrepreneurs, even experienced entrepreneurs that even hit six figures, multiple six figures per month, I'm talking, even some at seven figures, they hit this and they still have issues with optimizing and scaling with the three pillars. So I see it time and time and time again. I have all sorts of people emailing me literally every day, no lie. The thing that kind of, and I'm not going to call anybody out because I don't do that. It is what it is. But I just find it kind of funny when I see entrepreneurs online that they're rocking on Facebook every day. They're showing all these pictures and images and just flapping at the gums that they're doing this, doing that, and they're just rocking out their businesses. Yet literally probably about 80% of them are behind the scenes, constantly calling me and emailing me and asking me what can they do about their businesses? Their businesses are crashing and burning, or they're generating all this revenue, but they're not taking home any profit. It's kind of funny to see, but it's neither here nor there. You guys have known me for a very long time. I'm a pretty transparent type of guy. Pretty no fluff. I like to tell you what's going on in my businesses. I like to show you what's going on in my businesses. Sometimes there's not good stuff going on in my business at my level, and sometimes there is. That's just the way business is. Business is a constant. I don't know anybody, even the top guys that I know, they're making, $250 million a year. They're having issues in their businesses. So this is something that we all do as entrepreneurs. We have to embrace the grind. We have to embrace the hustle. We have to embrace the change, and we have to adapt, and we have to pivot. When we get into markets, most of our markets, over a period of literally 3 years, they start to mature. They start to get wise. They start to understand the tactics and the the nuances that we use as marketers, the direct response stuff that we use to get them to take particular actions. So markets are always evolving and they're always maturing. So part of the deal is you have to mature as well as a entrepreneur. It's not enough to be a business promoter or always promoting your business. You eventually, at some time, you have to become what I like to call a business full-blown optimization operator, which means is you got to, one day you have to kind of figure out and say to yourself, am I operating a business, or am I just positioning myself to sell products and services and always run promotions? Is that going to get me anywhere? Is that going to get me either an exit, or is that going to get me an acquisition? So sooner or later, everybody we all have to kind of position ourselves so that we can either get acquired or we can exit. Because I don't know about you, but I've been online now 15 years, and it's gotten to the point now where I've built out my assets over the last 7 years, and I've licensed out a ton of my assets in various different markets to where now I'm getting mailbox money coming in every month. And that is sheer passive income from doing stuff I did 7 years ago, and building that over the last 7 years to the point now where I license everything out. And I'm building out in more markets where I build out teams in those other markets, and I give them 90% of the revenue share. I take 10% after taxes and income tax and business tax and all this other kind of tax and overhead and everything, and I put that towards literally my children's foundation for them to grow up, for them to have a clear-cut life. So I'm at the point now where I will not be online too much longer as far as being in front of the scenes. I stay behind the scenes, and I enjoy that. So this is something that you guys have to understand. You have to put yourself in a position where, you don't want to be 60 years old, 70 years old and still being online, still standing on stage and speaking and all that kind of stuff, because I've talked to those guys that are 60 and 70 years old that are still standing on stage and they're still, yapping away, and everyone thinks they're like multi millionaires or billionaires. They're all broke. That's why they're still on stage speaking. You know what I mean? Like, their businesses are tanking because their audiences have grown up, their audiences have matured. Now they're trying to capture new markets, and the new markets they're not in sync with the new markets. So I don't think anybody that's on this live right now wants to be in that situation where you're still 50, 60, 70 years old and you're still banging it out. I mean, if that's what you love to do, then, I guess you better make sure that you're financially set. Like, you can buy an island. That's the reason why you're on stage. That's the reason why you're out there still. So nothing would break my heart more to see people that I've seen now over the last 5 years, 20 years from now, still doing the same thing. That would just literally crush me. That would break my heart. So I don't want any of you guys to do that. So let's get into the 3 pillars of wealth. Like I said, there's like 5 real hardcore pillars, but I'm going to talk about 3 pillars that are very important. And I like to get your feedback from you guys. So I've just put together a quick little PowerPoint presentation for you guys. A lot of you said you can see it. That's great. Let me know when I go forward if you can still see it or not, because I'm just going to put it on play, and I'm going to play it on my Mac. And I'm hoping that you guys can still see it. So give me a quick second here. So if you guys can, let me know if you can still see my screen. Okay, can you guys see my screen still? Let me know if you guys can see my screen. Okay, perfect. So let's get into the three pillars here. So the first pillar that I want to talk to you guys about is you have to understand something here. You have to understand what your customer or what your client is worth to you and how long you want to keep them. And what that means is basically what is the value that you want to provide to your client, and the value that you're providing to your client or your customers or your marketplace. This is going to be in direct relation to the byproduct of the financial outcome that you're looking for. So what I want to ask you guys is, if you guys have not thought about what is your long-term goal with your clients, do you guys know what your numbers are when it comes to your client? And do you know how much each customer should be in regards to revenue over the lifetime, and how much of that is profit? So as an example, I want you guys that are listening to me right now in the live, I want you guys to tell me right now, give me some basic numbers as far as what is your client worth to you right now? What is an average client customer? What are they worth to you? What is the lifetime of that client worth to you? Is it a year? How long do you retain that client? Is it a year? Is it 2 years? Is it 6 months? Is it 9 months? I want you guys to give me some numbers here, because I'm going to go through a little experiment with you live, so that you can understand what your client is worth to you at the time frame that it's worth to you, and what you need to do to be able to optimize and scale that. So quickly, just chime in here and let me know. Give me some numbers, please. Your client time frame. What is it? 6 months? Is it 3 months? Is it a year? Is it 2 years? What's the value of what it's worth to you? How much of that is literally, how much is it in revenue? And what is it in profit for you? I'm going to take about a minute, so I want some people to chime in here. Just give me, just chime in and let me know exactly what you guys, what some of your numbers are. You guys want to chime in here and let me know exactly what your numbers are, or give me a ballpark of what your numbers are? I would greatly appreciate it because I want to go through a little bit of an experiment here with you guys. Okay, so let me put it down this way to you guys. Once you guys understand what the revenue is for the lifetime visitor value of what your client or your customer is, and when you understand what the actual uh, profit is for that, then you're going to be able to reverse engineer and test out to see exactly how much is going to cost you to acquire a customer. So, i.e., that's going to be your CPA. Then from there, you want to figure out what your ad cost is and what your expenses are in order to find how much revenue you're going to generate and then how much of that is profit, because you cannot know what your CPA is once you start out with a business. You can have a guideline or you can have a rough ballpark of what your KPI should be, but if you've never generated and acquired a customer, you'll never know you'll never know your numbers. So this is a mistake that I see a lot of entrepreneurs making, because when they first start out with their businesses, even more experienced entrepreneurs, they still really don't know their numbers. I can tell you as an example for me, my clients and some of my masterminds, I hold a couple different mastermind levels. At my highest mastermind level, my client value is $130,000. That client stays with me 4 years. What does it cost for me to acquire that client? Well, it cost me over $125 when I'm running ads to acquire that client. Now, you may say that's tremendous, but guess what? There is a lot of ad expense that goes into that. There is a lot of overhead that goes into that, because I have to pay my outsourcers, I have to pay graphic designers, I have to pay web developers, I have to pay programmers. Let's not forget Uncle Sam takes a nice big chunk of that, about 30%. And then I have other expenses outside of that as well. So when it comes down to it, and then I have a business partner that I have to split that with when I'm running my highest level masterminds. So at the end of the day, I know what my client value is. I know how long they stay with me. I know what my CPA is to acquire that client. I know what all my expenditures are. I know what my revenue is, and I know how much of that is profit. So at the end of the day, my profit numbers are 33% when it comes to what I keep after everything is all said and done. So let me give you an example. Let's say your average customer is worth $100 to you over the lifetime. So you're going to take 10% of that for yourself. Okay. Of that 10%, let's say it's $10. Now you need to figure out on the front end what's going on with your overhead. So how much of that is left over? So that $90 that is left over, how much of that is going towards ad spend? How much of that is going towards your overhead if you have teams? How much of that is going towards expenses, i.e. graphic designers, i.e. programmers, i.e. web developers, i.e. Media buyers, i.e. content marketers? How much of that is going towards taxes? So when you figure all of that out, then you can figure out what your profit margins are. So your profit margins, as far as I'm concerned, if you cannot generate more than 30 to 33% profit margins, you're never going to be able to look at your business and optimize it and scale it, because you're always going to be literally spinning your wheels. So if your profit margins are 20%, uh, over time, as you're starting to scale, because you're going to be increasing your workflow, you're going to be increasing your manpower, you're going to be getting up into a higher tax bracket. If you're trying to do things legally, there's a lot of things that you're going to be doing that's going to literally eat away at your costs. So if you can't literally figure out exactly what you need to do as far as um, stabilizing that profit and growing that profit and increasing your margins, you're never going to be able to scale past 7 figures. Let me stop for a quick second. Let me know if this makes sense to you guys. I want to see some of your comments here. That's very cool. So your client's worth 8 grand to you, and you retain them for a year. Very good. So now you need to ask yourself, if one client is worth $8,000 to you and you retain them for a year, how much of that $8,000 is profit? How much of that $8,000 are you giving away as far as your taxes, as far as your man hours put in, as far as teams, as far as taxes? So that's the numbers that you really want to crunch down, because at the end of the day, your CPA doesn't really matter if everything else is out of alignment, if this makes sense to you. So again, once you get a good baseline for your CPA and you know what your margins are and your profit is really, really, really healthy, then from here it's just a matter of you optimizing your KPIs, right? And then it's a matter of scaling. So at the same time, what's going to happen now is before you start to scale, you actually want to be able to manage all your processes and your systems. You want to be able to put them in place before you start to scale, because what happens is a lot of entrepreneurs, I find, they start to scale their businesses, they start to drive up their ad costs, and they don't have a team put into place. Not only do they not have a team put into place, they don't have process put into place to run those teams. So they're always literally hiring, they're firing, they're they have somebody in their business for a month or 2 months, and all of a sudden that performer that they have, which is their outsourcer, is not working. I've always said to my clients and my students, if you're going to build a team, your team should be a 3-to-1 output. So every dollar that you're investing into a particular team member, they should be generating $3 back. Because at the end of the day, like I said, you've got to pay taxes, there's overhead, there's other expenses. So that $3 that they're generating is going to get whittled down to roughly around $2.25, $1.75. So that's how you have to think about it. And especially when you want to be able to start to scale, you have to understand those metrics. So understand that's very important. So a lot of people don't really talk about the numbers in their business. I can share my numbers in my business with you guys. Like as an example, right now, I have a couple of different membership sites that I've been running every month. And every month, those membership sites are 6 figures. I have 2 of them. They're running every month. They're 6-figure membership sites. So I charge $697 up front, and then I have a downsell to $497. Then I do a $297 monthly, or I do a $497 up front. I downsell to a $297, and then I'll have a $397 or $297 monthly for either of my membership sites. So I know exactly what my numbers are. I know exactly what I can do as far as ad spend. I know what I can do as far as hiring more VAs. I know what I can do when I'm scaling out. So I hired somebody to do some stuff for me on YouTube. Now, through the course of that, I actually hired a couple different people. I'm in the process now of going through a third YouTube person. I've had to open up some other YouTube accounts to start to generate YouTube ads for my particular products. So right now, at this present time, we're starting to break even with the YouTube spend. So probably in about another 2 months from now, once I get everything put together, my actual brand, the product images, the graphics, the logos, which is going to entice more people to actually start to go into my funnel, then I'm going to see exactly just how great YouTube is. Facebook is another total beast. So let's move on here, because I want to move on here with you guys. I want to talk about pillar number 2 with you guys, because pillar number 2 is very important. Pillar number 2 is about the experience. Gone are the days where customer service used to be the end thing. Now it's about brand. Now it's about your experience. For those of you that know me, I've been operating for years with my own personal brand that I never had a brand. All you guys saw was my feet up in the beach. That was actually my lifestyle brand, but it wasn't even a brand. So now my market has shifted. My market is now matured, Now I want to go into a more competitive marketplace, which is performance mentoring and strategic mentoring. So now I have to look at who's out in the space, who's in the space that I want to get into, and there's a whole bunch of sharks. So for me to actually push into this space now, even though I've got tremendous case studies, I've been online for a while, I'm still considered nobody. Because once I start running ads for YouTube and ads for Facebook and other forms of media buying without a personal brand, I'll be dead. I'll be dead in the water. So I understand now that I have to go out there now and I have to build a whole new brand around my particular image. So I want to make sure that you guys understand this. And I'm already past multiple seven figures and I still don't have a brand, which is crazy. So I want to help you guys before you get to that point is you have to understand that your brand is crucial to you optimizing and scaling and growing your business from this point forward. Never mind about customer service. Customer service is dead, right? It's all about the experience now. What are your customers experiencing when they go to your website? What are your customers experiencing when they're seeing you, i.e., on a Facebook Live? What are your customers experiencing when they're seeing you across social media when you're posting and when they're seeing your images? What's the brand experience that you're giving your marketplace? How are they reacting to you? This is very important because this brand, believe it or not, a lot of people say, oh, brand is not important. You can work out brand later. Those people that tell you that, they haven't the slightest foggy clue what they're talking about because they're not at multiple seven figures or eight figures, right? They're the ones telling you this. Someone that's doing multiple seven figures or eight figures is going to tell you brand is crucial. Brand is important because that's the way you position yourself. That's your unique selling proposition. Like that's your foray into that marketplace. This is either going to make you, it's going to separate you from everybody else in the pack, or it's going to elevate you, or you'll just be swallowed up in the big blue ocean. No one's going to know about you. So you have to understand something. What is the experience that you're giving your customers at this particular level? Because at this particular level, if you're giving your customers and your clients a great experience, what they're going to do is they're going to turn into your evangelicals. They're going to go out there and they're going to say, hey, this company, this person, etc., 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 they helped me grow my business. They can help you grow your business. Like a lot of my business right now, literally over 85% of my business, like my mentoring business, is from referrals. I don't do a lot of marketing for my mentoring. It's all based on referrals. I've got so many case studies that I haven't even released yet. And let's be honest, I'm not able to help everybody. There's there there's at least in the last couple of years, there's probably about a half a dozen people that I've not been able to help. And it's been through a variety of reasons. Now, I don't place blame on anybody, but the people that I've not been able to help, they for sure can place blame either on myself or my team or the process or this or that. But then I say to myself, well, guess what? For everyone, for those half a dozen people that have complained, there's four people that will say his shit worked. Look at what he's doing for me. So then you have to say to yourself, if you've got the same information, you've got the same framework, you've got the same body of content, strategies and techniques, and they've worked for four other people, but they haven't worked for you, what does that got to tell you? Right? Especially when, there's other things going on and there's other excuses. Like, you have to understand your brand is very crucial. It'll take you a lifetime to build your brand, and it'll take a second for you to destroy your name online. So it's very important that your brand it should be based on experience. Now, if you guys are following me still, let me know because I'm looking at this PowerPoint here and I can't see the comments. So I'm just going to stop for a quick second and see what you guys are saying. So let me know if you guys are still vibing what I'm talking about. Let me know if I've lost you guys. Let me know if you guys are still there. Love to see if you guys can throw some comments there for me so I hope I'm still live here for you guys and you guys can still hear me. All right, let's move on here. So let me talk about the third pillar with you guys. Let me just jump through this here. And by the way, you guys can have this PDF this keynote when I'm done with it. My guys will put it into a PDF for you, and then you guys can take it and review it on your own time. Not an issue there. So let's talk about pillar number 3 with you guys. It's how to hire A players. This is super important. This is something that a lot of entrepreneurs I find have a lot of issues with this. I like to think of the third pillar as your A player team, and then your A player team executes with flawless operational execution, which means the processes and systems that you have built out yourself or you have outsourced for people to build for you to bring into your business. The people that you now bring on board, they are walking through the processes and the systems, and they're set up so that there's nothing in the cracks. They're not going to fall through the cracks. They're not going to execute what you want them to do. So your A player team, this is what a lot of entrepreneurs don't understand. They don't. This is about an investment. So when it comes to building your A player team, you actually got to take money from your business to be able to build your A player team. Yes, I know there's some people that say, well, you can attract A players and they can come to your business. It's true, but if you want to get immediate execution in your business, you want to immediately grow your business, you need to take money from your business, look at it as an investment. So what's going to happen now is your A player team can build, grow, and scale your business, and your business is literally your money machine, and your money machine needs to be able to move without you. I'm very, very, very militant about this. I drill this into a lot of entrepreneurs' heads. At the end of the day, for those of you that know me, you know I travel. I'm always traveling. Literally 8 months out of the year, I'm traveling. So I'm not around. I have a base in three different countries. So I'm always bouncing in and out, and I'm always traveling. I always got my little guy with me. He's getting homeschool, private tutor, all that kind of stuff. So at the end of the day, if I'm in a time zone where I'm 8 hours ahead, or 12 hours ahead, or 13 hours ahead, I can't be at my business every day. That's just ridiculous. I want to sleep. So I make sure that I've built out a solid A player team that runs my business. I don't need to be here. I can literally take off for 4 or 5 months, and my A player team will run my business for me. I will look after my top clientele. I'll stay in touch with them, but I mean the ultimate basic foundation, the foundation that I've built out, my team is running that. Half the time people think I'm on Facebook. I'm not on Facebook, right? I have people, I write up my posts, I upload them, my team cleans everything up, and they post it on Facebook or across social media. So that's something that you need to understand is you've got to be able to make sure that when you're building on your A player team, it's a investment from your business, that you have to take money from your business. It's an investment that you have to plow into your business to be able to build your A player team, right? So let me explain to you what your A player team actually does. And they thrive on psychological drivers. And these psychological drivers will allow them and compel them to execute your vision. Here's the big thing that I find a lot of entrepreneurs don't do is when it comes to their vision, if they don't believe their own vision, they don't believe the way the company should head, then when it comes time to bringing people on board, outsourcers, in-house, in-house personnel, if the founder, the CEO, the co-founder, whatever you want to label yourself, if you're not sure about your vision, you're not sure about how to execute on your vision, nobody else is going to believe in you. So what's going to happen now is you're going to try to build not an A player team, because A player teams will not levitate towards you. They won't want to get on board with your vision because you don't have a vision. You'll build a team of C players and B players, and eventually you just crash and burn anyways. So A player teams, you have to have psychological drivers. And here are the psychological drivers that are going to fuel and propel your A player teams. That's money, opportunity, and recognition. These are psychological drivers that it doesn't matter whether you're a pauper in the street in India, or you're a multimillionaire, you're sitting in your beachfront condo in Malibu Beach in California. We're all hardwired. It's called in the part of our reptilian brain. We're all hardwired for money, opportunity, and recognition as drivers. Now, what you need to do is you need to figure out which driver is the most important to the person that you want to attract. Then over time, over the next year or the next two, you need to layer on the other two drivers. This is going to help you to build a brand loyalty, trust, but more importantly, ownership inside of your business. See, here's the thing. A lot of entrepreneurs, what they do is when they're building out their businesses, they don't give their A player teams ownership of the business. Like, they want to be a dictator. They want to say, I'm the owner, I'm the CEO, I'm the founder. You guys just work for me. You'll never build an A player team like that. It's next to impossible. Like I said, if you guys have listened to me, when I build out A player teams, I give them 90%. I take 10%. I give them ownership in everything, and every business that we build, I give them ownership. I don't need 90%. I don't need 75%. I don't need 50%. You want to know why? Because I understand how to keep my people loyal to me. I understand how to keep them trustworthy and trustful. I understand how to build them out so that at the end of the day, they're replicating themselves because they have the financial power to do so. There's nothing greater on the face of this planet than having a team built and then not empowering them, not incentivizing them, not motivating them to be able to replicate themselves. How do you think you're able to optimize and scale your business if you don't empower your team to be able to replicate themselves, if you keep them in compartments, right? You have to understand something. And if your next question is, well, what if I just want employees? I want them to have an employee mindset. That's great. But guess what? If you want to go to 8 figures or multiple 8 figures and you have employees that have employee mindset, you're always going to be putting out fires in your business. You're always going to be working in the business. You're always going to be the guy, the macro manager of your business. You're never going to be able to build. You're never going to be able to do the high income generating activities that you're supposed to be doing in your business to help propel your business, right? Your A player team, you've got to inspire them. You've got to motivate them. You've got to do all those things that I've talked about so that they're able to build, grow, and scale your business for you. So your only job as a CEO or the founder or whatever label you want to put on yourself, your only requirement is just to steer the ship. Is to put it in the direction where you want it to head, right? Let me pause for a quick second here, and I'm going to see some comments here. I want you guys to give me some feedback here and let me know. So you're still on pillar number 2? Okay, don't worry about it. You're going to get the PDF for this at the end of this live anyway, so I'll make sure you get this PDF. You'll be fine. Right now I'm talking about pillar number 3, and we're talking about building out your A-player teams. So let's continue on with your A-player teams. Like I said, you've got to be able to inspire your A-player teams, okay? And when I'm talking about inspiring, this comes with the daily culture of your business. This comes with the gratitude that you have because you actually have a business. If you can share your gratitude with your A-player teams, this will get ingrained into their systems. They'll have gratitude as well because you've given them ownership in your business. It's their business. So they have a sense of purpose. They have a drive. They have a mission to be able to push forward. And that comes with, again, your daily culture. So as an example, every day, what I do with my project managers is I have a meeting with my project managers. It's a quick 30-minute meeting. I want to inspire my project managers. I want to motivate my project managers, and I want to incentivize my project managers. Because after I'm finished with my project managers, everything else rolls downhill. Because I have project managers that have team members inside of their departments. So I don't need to talk to other outsourcers. I only want to talk to my project managers, because everything else, my project managers are literally my right hand people. They're put in positions to be able to delegate specific departments. They're put in positions to be able to delegate that small team of 2 or 3 or 4 outsourcers to be able to accomplish tasks at the end of the day. So that's what I'm talking about with inspiring, motivating. There are many different ways for you to motivate your A player team, right? You can motivate your team ethically, right? Again, like I've said, every project manager that comes into my business, I literally, when I sit them down within the first week or two, I let them know right away, within 90 days, they have to duplicate themselves. They have to replicate themselves. Because what I want them to do is I want them to move up somewhere higher in the food chain. I want them to do more. I want to empower them to be able to do more. So I don't want them to think like they're just a project manager, right? I want them to duplicate themselves. Because what happens is when they're able to duplicate themselves, and by the way, your project manager should have a multitude of skill sets, but they should have a specialist, or they should be a specialist in one particular area. It's okay for your project manager to be a generalist, so they should have some skill sets in 3 or 4 different areas, but they should specialize and they should be able to go deep within one particular area. So it's very important that when you're bringing on project managers, and you want to scale out your business, it's very important that they have some core skill sets, at least 3 or 4 different core skill sets, i.e. they know how to do 4 or 5 different areas of internet marketing, but they have one speciality, they have one special core that they can drill in and go deep with that. That's very, very, very important, because what happens is, as human nature, sometimes your outsourcers, They won't be they won't be online every day. They won't be working every day. All of a sudden, 2 or 3 days may go by, and you don't know where they are or what's going on. And 2 or 3 days or 4 days of no input, that's lost revenue. When you're driving ads, when you're building out ads, when you're building out landing pages, when you're trying to convert with your funnels, and you don't have some VAs put into place, or they're not around, or you can't get a hold of them, or their internet is down, this will hurt you when you're growing on your business to six figures, multiple 6 figures, 7 figures. So you have to understand that you've had to have people put into place, that you have to have redundancies built in. So you're not just relying on one outsourcer. You're not relying on one person to be able to do everything. So your project managers, when you're going out to hire them, they should have at least 3 or 4 core skill sets, but they should be a specialist in one skill set and be able to go deep in that skill set, right? So that's something that you guys need to think about when you're building out your teams, and you build out your teams from the top down, right? So you don't build out your teams from the bottom; you build out your teams from the top down, right? Now, next thing we want to talk about is when you incentivize your team members, your A player team members, right? You can lead your team with a financial foundation, but you want them to be able to take charge so they can grow your business, right? So understand that is very important when you're doing with your A player teams, okay? Now, let me just pause for a second. I want to see if you guys are still with me. If you guys are still with me, try and share some love with me. Just post in the comments that you're still with me, that you're still there. Love to know what you guys are thinking about this kind of stuff, because I want to start to do a little bit more Facebook Lives. I'm going to start to get a little bit more focused on some certain areas here, because it's very important that I want to get this content out to you guys. I've been keeping this content in my head and with my clients for a very long time, and I'm just going to share it with you guys openly. I'm not going to charge you guys anything. I don't want any money from you guys. I just want to be. I've always been a content provider, but I want to make sure that you execute on the content that I'm giving you, because what's going to happen is you're going to come back to me and say, you know what? I took your advice. I listened to what you said, and here's what happened in my business. That for me is more powerful than money, because that's the currency that I can trade on now when I'm starting to push into more hyper competitive markets. All right. All right. Let's move on here. So like I said, you guys are going to get this PDF here at the end of it. Oh, let me go back here. Sorry about that. All right. So once again, when it comes down to flawless operational execution, and this, it has to be done. If you're already at six figures and you haven't optimized your systems and your processes, what's going to happen is if you are still a solo operator or you have a small team, if you don't have your operations, if you don't have your systems and your processes already put into place and optimized, they're never going to work without you. The ultimate goal is you want to be able to have your systems and your processes, your standard operating procedures, however you want to label them. You want to be able to have this machine working so that it can work without you being there, right? You've got to be able to make sure, like I said, I'm going to repeat this because I'm like a broken record. You've got to be able to make sure that you have your team leader, your manager that's put into place, and they're put into place on all levels, and all levels are operating, all levels are working, right? As the CEO or the founder or whatever label you want to put on yourself, it's not your job to oversee everything in your business because, like I said, what's going to happen is you're going to become a micro operator, right? And if you become a micro operator, what's going to happen is you're going to start to fall through the cracks. Your business is going to start to fall through the cracks. Customer service is going to go. Your guys that are your programmers, your software guys, cracks are going to start to happen. People are going to start to get hurt in your business. Your sales are going to start to go down. What you need to do is you need to put yourself in a position, once you've got your systems and your processes put into place, is you need to be able to look at your overall business with either one or two of your top tier people. You need to be able to look at it in a glance and look at your whole entire business and know what's going right, what's going wrong, what you need to fix. Every week, all I need to do is look at a flow chart, and it's red, green, and yellow, right? That's all I need to see. It's all labeled. Everything I do is in Trello. So my team builds everything out in Trello, and all I need to do is look at the labels. So I know where we're red, I know where we're green, I know where we're yellow. Where we're red, we simply, I get in touch with my project manager who manages that particular compartment or that department, or those outsourcers, figure out why we're in a red, fix it immediately within the next 24 to 48 hours. Where we're green, I don't bother about it because I know the green for me is cash flow. Green for me is money's coming in, revenue's coming in, right? Now we're going to need to figure out from that revenue, what's pure cash flow, what's pure profit. Let's look at our books. Let's look at how we can start to build out more ads or run more ad campaigns. When I see stuff in yellow, okay, well, I know I need to go to a certain project manager and say, what's going on over in this department? What's going on in this department? Why is it yellow over here? What's going on? Yellow means something's been going on for the last week or two. So it's not something that's progressive that's been going on for 3 or 4 months, because what happens is if you let something slide in your business and you're doing six figures and it's been in a yellow zone for 3 or 4 months, your business is done, right? You cannot let anything go more than 30 days in your business if you're doing a color coding system or however you build out your business. If it's going longer than 30 days, you have a major issue in your side of your business. So let's say you're running ad campaigns and you're running ad campaigns daily and you're losing money every day and you let it go past 30 days. How much money have you lost? Especially if you're running a high volume of ads. If you're running $2,000, $3,000 a day, you do the math on that and you're losing money every day. You're not making any money and you're getting refunds and chargebacks coming into your business, and you're letting that go to 3 or 4 months, you're out of business by then, right? Not only is your merchant account going to shut you down, Visa, MasterCard is going to shut you down, you're going to get in a whole bunch of issues. So you have to understand something. Never let something go more than a week or two inside of your business that's going to hurt your business or it's going to compromise your business, right? So again, this machine that you've built, which is your business, the A players that you put into place, the managers, the team leaders, whatever you want to put the handle on, whatever you want to call them, they're put into place. This needs to run without you, right? So I'm not going to sit here and tell you everything's all rosy, because I'm sharing with you at one particular point in 2014, 2015, I'd lost my business. I had a business that was literally going to go to nine figures. I was on a nine-figure exit, and everything under the sun all at once. And it was when I was away, and I clearly wrote about this on Facebook. I was very transparent about it. My entire business collapsed, and there was a lot of issues. To this day, I still can't talk about it because I've signed NDA agreements with Facebook and Google, and with an attorney general and this and that. But at the end of the day, I had a lot of I had employee theft, internal theft. I had hacking across my CPA network. I had a lot of hardcore shit go wrong, and I learned a very valuable lesson from that. So the valuable lesson that I'm with these three pillars that I'm sharing with you today is from based on my experience for what happened to me back in the day. So I'm trying to help you guys to avoid all these problems right now in the first place so that it doesn't happen, right? So basically, again, if you don't have a machine built, you don't have your processes, your systems put into place, if you're at six figures right now, you've got to get this cemented out. You've got to be able to have a process and a system put into place for everything. What I tell my clients to do is for every area of their business, let's take an example for copywriting. What I tell my clients to do is as they go out and hire a copywriter, they let the copywriter know that the copywriter needs to create anywhere from 3 to 5 minute videos of what they do when they're building out a campaign, what they do when they're building out a copywriting funnel or an email series. I tell my clients, you tell the copywriter, because you're paying this copywriter, you tell them that you want them to record 3 to 5 videos of 3 to 5 minutes apiece, going over their process, going over the systems as to how they're building everything out. Now, you may think this is a little bit militant. You may think this is a little bit micromanagement, but guess what? When that copywriter leaves and you want to go and hire another copywriter, what are you going to do? Wouldn't it make sense for you to already have an existing platform, an existing training platform, and existing processes and systems put into place that you can just go out and look for another copywriter? If you wanted to have one in-house or an outsourced copywriter that maybe is a 1 or 2 years experience, but you want to actually hire them and bring them into your business to let them help build your business full time, wouldn't it make sense for you to already have systems and processes put into place for them to walk into your business and look at the platform that's already there, so that they can learn off of it, so they can take inspiration from this existing system? This is a lot of things what a lot of entrepreneurs don't do, right? So what happens is now this is a vicious cycle, right? You're always constantly pouring out money out of your business to go out and hire people. I do this for copywriters. I do this for graphic designers. I do this for media buyers. I do this for social media people. I do this for SaaS. I do it for everything in my business, right? All my VAs, the same thing. All my project managers, the same thing, right? My project managers build out all their standard operating procedures for everything they do in their business, just in case the project manager should want to pick up one day and leave, right? If you don't have a system and a process put into place and it's already built, it's already sitting there. All my stuff is in Wistia. It's either in Trello, Dropbox, or Wistia. All my systems, all my processes, all my cheat sheets, everything is already built out. So literally, when somebody new comes into the business for whatever department that they're working in, they sit there for at least a week or 2 weeks and they watch everything that they need to watch. If they got questions, they go talk to the project manager, right? The person in charge, right? So they can get clarification. So once they come into the business, they're up and they're running. Let me know if this makes sense to you guys. So I'm going to take a quick pause here. Let me know if this makes sense to you guys so you can understand what you need to do in your business. Yeah, it's okay to be solo. There's no shame in being a solo entrepreneur. There's no shame in running be on one man or one woman band. No shame in that whatsoever. What you need to understand is how long do you want to do that? I don't want to be I don't want to be cliche here. I don't want to say you want to be a jack of all trades and a master of nothing. That's all bullshit. I don't, you know what I mean? Like you have to understand something. For if you get into business, you have to look at your core skill sets. What are your core foundational skill sets? What are your strengths? That's what you want to focus on. Even as a one man band or one woman band, whatever, you need to focus on your strengths. If you can build out a business and you've made $10,000, you have the ability to go out and hire your first team. And by all rights, you should go hire your first team. You should not wait till you hit six figures or multiple six figures before you start bringing people into your business or trying to hire people. It's too late. It's not too late, but you're gonna have a lot of issues. You're gonna have good months. You're gonna have bad months, and you're just gonna roll year after year until you finally say to yourself, "Holy shit, I got to get better at this. I have to really hunker down here if I want to scale." Seven figures, hitting your first seven-figure month is one of the most difficult things you'll ever do in your online business, right? It's super hard. Seven-figure year, yeah, that's hard too, but you can do that. Seven-figure month, fucking hard as hell. I don't know anybody, and I know a ton of high-level people that that when they hit their first seven-figure month, I mean their first seven-figure month, I don't know any one of them that told me it was easy or was a breeze. It's bullshit. Anybody that tells you that seven figures are for their first seven-figure month is full of shit. If they say it was a breeze, it's bullshit, right? And I'm not talking revenue, okay? So understand something. By that particular point, you have your machine built. It's already optimized. When you hit your first seven-figure month, now I'm talking revenue, right? I'm not talking revenue. So, and there's a massive difference there, right? So let's continue on here because I'm almost done, and then I will do a little bit of Q&A if you guys are up for a little bit of Q&A. So let me give you another example. Here's the classic blunder that a ton of entrepreneurs make in their businesses. They have one merchant account, and they're trying to ramp up their business to multiple six figures per month, seven figures per month, and live with one merchant account. If you are at a stage where you're doing multiple six figures, even before you hit that stage, at six figures a month, you should already had at least, I tell my clients, 3 to 5 merchant accounts. And of those 3 to 5 merchant accounts, they should not be with the same financial provider, i.e. the same bank. If you have one merchant account with one bank, you're fucked. If you have 3 merchant accounts with the same bank, you're fucked. You need to have 3 to 5 merchant accounts with 3 to 5 other financial providers, banks, institutions, whatever. Because when one goes, and you shouldn't be loading more than 80%